Hey, 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 it's story time with Howie. By the way, I'm Howie. Anyways, uh, everything is true, whether it's good or bad, it is what it is. You know, it's the way it is. Story time and stories of my life. Here's one of them. Crazy shit. But, it, basically started back in the days I was young, and, I had some chickens. I had a couple hens. I had some hens, and I had like I don't know 5 or 6 hens, and I had one big ass badass rooster. I mean, he was a go getter rooster. Now, I'm not talking about this rooster was badass. He was a badass rooster, man, and he would I mean like chase kids down the road and shit, sparring at him and stuff. And it was nothing more funnier than watching that. And he'd come up to me trying to spur me all the time, and I'd literally like drop kick him, and I enjoyed him, because he was basically went wild. He stopped staying in his coop and everything. He'd go up in a tree. That's basically how he avoided predators and stuff, because he'd, go up in the tree. And anyways, so anyways, we were all just, a couple friends of mine came over, and we're gonna build a fire in the backyard, and we got some acid. It was really good, clean acid. Oh. And then we were going to invite some girls over and, do what we did back then. So, hanging out and everything, and we're just about, 30 minutes into it or so, feeling pretty good. And sitting there at the fire, and I got logs around the fire. I was sitting on one of them. And one thing about this rooster, I can explain this to you. You never catch this rooster in the daytime. He was like greased lightning freaking rooster. It was like wild rooster. He'd go roost every night. But other than that, you would never catch him in the daytime. You just won't do it. I mean, just like, there's a chicken, man. He's hard, whatever, rooster, whatever. So, he's out there bit-bopping around and stuff. He comes bit-bopping up, of course, bowing up with my friends and stuff, doing whatever he does. And I'm sitting there rolling a joint, and he starts bit-bopping around me, and he chases up this grasshopper. Grasshopper's popping around. Well, he chases right up to me, right next to me, right? When I reach right over there and grab by his chicken neck, dude, it was all, like I got him by his little neck, like, ow, nah. So when I got him by his little fucking, by the way, I call him chicken head. So I got chicken head by his chicken neck. And whenever you grab him by his little neck, his little freaking mouth would open up, man, and his tongue would stick out. You're like, whoa, check it out, man. So every time I'd squeeze on his little fucking chicken neck, his fucking mouth would open up, his tongue would stick out. When you let go of it, it would shut. So I could, like, make him talk and stuff, like, oh, check it out. So I'm like, talking for him, and, we're having a good old time and cracking jokes with him, like, and, choking your chicken, all this fucking stupid shit, laughing. Of course, we thought it was the funniest thing in the world, we're high and fucked up on acid and stuff, so everything's funny to us, more or less making a chicken talk. So I came up with the most greatest idea you've ever heard in your life. I'm like, hey man, let's give it some acid, like, oh my God, let's do this, man. So my buddy gets the acid out, right? And we're like, all right, man, I can grab my little chicken fucking neck. And his fucking mouth opens up and his little tongue sticks out. My buddy drops the acid on there, I let it go, and it goes back in. And we're like, oh, this is awesome. So I let him go. And of course, he runs off, like, I'm gonna spur you later, you asshole. And right then, the girls pull up. So, we forget all about chicken head. And we're hanging out around the fire doing what we do, and it gets dark, and there's like a shaded area on the other side of the fire anyways, and then all of a sudden the fire lights this area, and there's freaking chicken head sitting on one of the logs, like, looking at us, and his fucking eyeballs were gonna bust out of his head, man. never seen nothing like, I tell you, man. His eyeballs, like, looked like they were gonna, they're like, I was like, oh my God, they're gonna blow up and land on us and stuff, you know, like, it was eerie. So I was like, we laughed about that and everything. And let me explain something to you about Chickenhead. He had a routine. Like, you know, every day, you know, he'd get up in the morning and fucking squawk, cock up, little do whatever the hell he was doing. Then he'd run around the yard chasing shit around. And then at night, you know, he'd go up on his roost. I mean, it's guaranteed you can bet money on it. I mean, it was just the way he was. You would never see him out at night. You just wouldn't see him. Never see him at night. Well, here he is sitting out at night. Sitting there and freaking, it was, I don't know. So, girls, they're like, they're patting on him and stuff, and talking to him. He's all fucking kooking his head all around. They're like, oh, you know, and his fucking big ass eyeballs and shit. And you would never pet Chickenhead either. Fucking wild rooster. They're not petting him. Well, all of a sudden, he's like, fuck it. You know, and he's rubbing on. He's like fucking head beaking around him. The eyeballs ready to fucking blow up. And we're like, all right, everything, you know, whatever. So we're doing whatever we're doing. And we're like, all right, we're gonna drive to the lake, you know. So I'll load up, you know, jump in our trucks, you know, it was. And we go down the lake, start a fire, and we're jumping around, doing whatever we're doing. And I find myself to where everybody's up there by the fire, you know, doing what they're doing. And even the girl I was supposed to be with, or whatever. But I'm sitting there. This is a true story. It is what it is. I'm sitting on the bank, and I'm looking out at the lake. You know, somewhat of a moonlit night, and fucking Chickenhead sitting next to me. Like Chickenhead sitting next, and we're like, it's like I talked to him, like I had communication with a fucking chicken, man. So, it's like, we're sitting there, you know, we're looking off, and his big fucking eyeballs ready to bulge out of his head. I'm like, you know, Chickenhead, me and you used to have a pretty good relationship, you know, and then you started spurring me and I drop kick you and shit. And I kind of felt like, you know, we kind of like grew apart. And I feel kind of bad for that. I waited a minute and shit. Chickenhead talked to me. And he's like, yeah, you know, I really didn't like it when you called me Chickenhead, you know, and, you know, I lost all my, you know, my women, all my chicks and stuff. And, you know, and I just didn't really want to go on with life anymore after that. So I might have, you know, kind of put a lot of anger on you. And I was like, I understand, Chickenhead, you know. And it might have been when I would be like sitting there eating chicken in front of you going, get out of here, you fucking Chickenhead. You know, because as you're trying to spur me and I'm drop kicking you. And he's like, yeah, you know. So I was like, well, I'm sorry, Chickenhead. You forgive me, man, we all right. And he was like, he waited a little bit. And he said, yeah, man, we're all right. We're good. I said, I appreciate that, Chickenhead. And, you know, kind of like bonded a little bit, you know. And then we wrapped up the night and got all crazy. And the next day, he was like, fuck you, and started spurring at me again. And he went right back to being Chickenhead. And I ended up going right back to drop kicking him. And we had a great relationship. He lived for quite a while after that. But I felt like we bonded. I felt like we were like there. You know, like for that moment. You know what I mean? It was kind of cool. Yeah, you know, shit happens. So, the moral of the story is fuck, I party with a lot of motherfuckers. Man, can you say you party with a fucking chicken? Fuck it. It is what it is. And it's true.